can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. So if you've got your friends around you and it's them that you want to impress, it's them that you will likely see as your source of safety. It's them that you likely think they're the ones that I need to keep in with. So they're the ones that you'll be eager to please.
A typical incident when you arrive, particularly in the very first stages, is just chaos. There will be fire engines with all their pumps and hydraulics going. There's noise as they're maybe trying to cut people out. There'll be ambulances coming and going. It'll be quite difficult sometimes to get near to the involved vehicles because there may be paramedics in there trying to treat people who are still alive. I think it's the bravado of youth to a degree. Ultimately, young males remain the biggest killer of young girls in terms of car crashes and in general. Part of their brain that recognises risk, and I'm no expert, but they just don't see the risk, they don't see the danger. And I could pull them up in my traffic car, shout at them, scream at them. It's not necessarily they don't want to listen, they're just not identifying what their actions, the consequences may be from them.
I got a phone call, loads of messages. My colleague's really hurt himself, he's come off his bike. I just started panicking, went in shock. I'd gone to the accident where he was and he was getting took away in the ambulance. Never felt pain like it. I thought he was unbreakable.
CCTV.
I need an ambulance here, he's dying in front of me. Can somebody come immediately, please? The junction was 30th Avenue.
So it was Sunday the 5th of September and there was myself and a PC working. There was just the two of us working from Northwell Box that day. The call comes over the radio that there's been a road traffic collision on Ellerburn Avenue, and I said, right, I'm going. And I can hear on the radio that people are making their way, but I know that I'm close. I'm 2 streets away, I know that I'm close. I felt nervous. I certainly didn't think anybody was going to die. I thought it was all going to be all right. I parked the car. I couldn't really understand what had happened. I wasn't aware of a motorbike, I couldn't see one. I was solely focused on who was lying on the floor because there was something in me that told me this was one of my boys. And that's how I refer to them, my boys. And even the boys on the estate know that I refer to them as my boys. And they all know me by name. And just like, I'm just there, it's just Dawn. He's laid out in front of me and I can see straight away that it's Macaulay Hatch. So I press my panic button because I can see that he's not the right colour. Somebody's put some towels on him, but you can see that he's broken from the waist down. Just a lot of broken bones and a bone sticking out of his leg. And his hips weren't in the right position or didn't appear to be. And I pressed my panic button and I said, somebody needs to come and help me, he's dying. And then that stays open, so everybody across the force can hear what you're saying. So I dropped to my knees. The person that was on his right-hand side got up and let me go to him, but the person on the other side stayed there. And I could see that his eyes were not responsive at all. I could see that he was breathing. Absolutely, he was breathing. He was bleeding quite badly from the back of his head, and I knew that that was open. And I held him. I took his face and told him that he was going to be all right. I told him that I'd got him. I told him who I was. I said, Macaulay, it's Dawn. The PCSO, it's Dawn. And some woman said, oh, you're Dawn. So I just glanced at her and just said, yeah, I am. And I talked to him and told him he was going to be okay, that we were going to look after him, that the ambulance was coming, that I had him. I am not going to let you go, I have you. It was like this storm was raging. It was really strange feeling. It was really like chaotic. I didn't have any control and I couldn't do anything except hold this boy and tell him that I was there and that he was going to be okay, whether that was the truth or not. And we arrived at the hospital and there was total calm. The storm had stopped and everybody knew what they were doing. Everybody had their place and the order was there and it was all smooth and there was no panic, and it was, we are going to do our best now to save this boy. And I really felt very much out of my depth. And I didn't know if I was being helpful, kind, empathetic. I didn't know what the family thought. I said to Mum that I'd not left him, that I talked to him all the time. I needed to know that I held him. I just wanted her to know, as a mum, that he wasn't on his own. Catastrophic brain injury. And I wondered if, as a mum, would that register that meant death? Does that mean death? Because I would need somebody to say, he's dead, not catastrophic brain injury, which is just a big long word. I'd need them to say he's dead, and they didn't say that. So even I was kind of like, will you just tell me? Will you just tell me? And then I had to go back into the family, but it wasn't my job to tell them. And so I went back in, and then medical staff came in and said, you know, he's likely to go now, really. He's likely to go now. And I knew at that point that it was my time to leave, because this wasn't my family. This wasn't my tragedy. It was theirs. And I'd done my job. And I wanted to go home. I wanted to be in the quiet, in my safe space. I think what I've found is that you can't change people. So I couldn't say to anybody, I don't want you to steal any motorbikes anymore. Please don't steal any cars, because the thrill outweighs anything that I say. But when you show them somebody's mother, somebody's sister, brother, dad, child, and they're laying flowers at a grave, or they're sobbing at a funeral, or it's 10 years later and they're still crying, and they're still desperate for that person to return, it makes a difference, because the person who you're telling, they're somebody's son, they're somebody's brother.
I was telling him to pull through, not to leave me, that I couldn't do it on my own. I was just saying that we loved him and he could do it, he was a fighter. And then when he was going, I just said, I kept reassuring him, come round, you're not leaving me. He thought it was just untouchable. Nothing could break him, nothing could hurt him. And he didn't realise, I don't think anybody would realise the impact it does have on families, taking a loved one away from them.